Today I'm going to talk about Kotlin for Java developers and how to get started with Kotlin if you are a Java developer. And the way I'm going to do it is first go through how you get your program up and running. So what's the entry point? Then I'm going to talk quickly about classes, then variables and constructors. The way I'm going to do it is switch back and forth between this file and main Java, which is this file, and main Kotlin, which is a Kotlin file. So what I'm created here is just a basic Gradle project in IntelliJ. So you just go into IntelliJ, press new, and then Gradle, and it will create this for you. So you'll have a build file, and then you might need to create the source structure, but then you're all set to go. So let's get started. The entry point. As a Java developer, you know that it's public static void main. And it always takes a string args, or an array of strings. And then inside there you can do whatever you want. In my case, I'm just going to do print hello world. So system out println hello world. Well, let's do hello Java so we know which file this is. Okay, and to get this running, we need to go into our build.gradle. Go in there, and I've prepared this already. So in plugins, you need to make sure to have application to make it the application. And what happens then is when you do run, it will look for our application scope. So it's down here, and it will look for the main class. So in this case, our main class is actually main Java. That will reference our main Java file. So let's go back to our main Java file. And then we need some kind of run configuration. So we press add configuration up here on the top, add configuration. Then we press the small plus, and we have a new Gradle configuration. And let's name it run. So this will only, what it will do when we hit the green button, it will actually perform Gradle run. And to get that to work, we need to go into Gradle, or we need to define the Gradle project. Then we press this little folder and choose our project, and the task that will be running is run. Hit apply, that's okay. And now this green arrow is enabled, and we can press that to run it, and you see it compiles, and we get our output hello Java. Perfect. So let's do the same thing for Kotlin. So we go to Kotlin, and Kotlin is a bit different from Java. You can have multiple classes in the same file. So the file doesn't need to be named the same thing as the class, and you can place functions both inside classes and outside classes. So for our main function, we can actually do it directly outside a class. We just need to call it fun main. So that's how you do a function. You do fun and then function, parameters, and then whatever your function wants to do. So similar to Java. And in here we instead of system out println, we can use the println. And for Kotlin, we do hello Kotlin. To run this, we go into our build Gradle file, and we need to switch the main class, which we talked about earlier. So down here, our main class, and in this case, we need to run main Kotlin. And here is the little bit tricky part, and that is to make it find a Kotlin file, you actually need to add capital K and then a T after your file. So KT is the Kotlin ending of files, and you add a capital K and a small t. So main Kotlin. So let's go back to our main Kotlin file and run this. It should say hello Kotlin. Yes, hello Kotlin. Perfect. So now we have our entry point for Java program and our entry point for our Kotlin program. Next thing was classes. So classes, we know from Java, public class main Java. In Kotlin, a class is pretty similar. It's just class and then main Kotlin. So class and then name, and that's actually a whole class. And to create an instance of this class, we can just do main Kotlin without new. So in Java, if we go back to Java, to create an instance of main Java, we'd actually have to do new main Java. That would create an instance of our class. Don't forget the semicolon, new main Java. Look at main Kotlin, we used to main Kotlin, and that creates the instance. So that was we have an entry point for our classes. So let's look at variables. So let's do that way, this way, that we inside our main Kotlin file will, no, let's do it in main for simplicity. So variables in Java, you do type and then the name, like so. You can do string a equals to hello, and that would be your variable. To make it immutable, you will put final in front of it. In Kotlin, you have what is called val, which is an immutable, and var, which is immutable. So you have val hello equals to hello, and that's immutable, and then var hello2 equals to hello2, and that's immutable. So if we try to change hello equals to test, it will actually say down here cannot be reassigned, and we don't need semicolons anywhere here, just so I have mentioned that. But it can't be reassigned, but if we do hello2, we can reassign it. And the general notion in Kotlin is to try to keep everything immutable as a best practice. So types here, you can see that I didn't add types here. Kotlin is a statically typed language, but it also has type inference, which means that it sees that the right hand side here, hello, is a string, so it will know that hello here is a string. If we want to define the type, we actually do it, we do colon and then type. So here we would write the type to say that we say hello is an int, and then it will complain, well, this is a string and the left side is an int, so that doesn't work. A good thing to know about Kotlin also is that in Java you have the things called primitive types, like int and long and double, and then you have the more object, or the objects, which is integer and long with a capital L, if I'm not mistaken. In Kotlin you can just see everything as objects. So int would actually be an object, and that means that you can, for example, use it as a key in a hash map or something like that. Good. So that's our variables. Quickly going through, and lastly we'll just look at the constructor quickly, because Kotlin does constructors a bit different. So looking at Java, if we go in here, we can create a private main, or it's called main Java, and that's our constructor for this class. If we wanted to add a variable to the constructor, we'll just do it here, int foo, and then it will actually say up here, well, we need an integer inside here, so let's do 5. So new Java foo 5, and 5 foo would be 5 here. So if we print foo here, we'll actually print 5. Good. So this, to do this in Kotlin, you would actually put your, let's remove the braces. Since we don't have any code in our class, we don't need the braces. But for Kotlin, you would actually put your variables right after the class name, so in here. So if we actually would like a foo int to be sent to our constructor, we would do foo int, and that would give the foo variable int to our class. So looking down here, now it says, well, you need that pass a value for foo, so let's do 5, and then we pass that variable. So if we do, as an example, if we do like that, so we create an instance of main Kotlin, which has the variable 5, since the variable 5 in main, and now we can use main in here, but it's empty, so there's nothing we can do with it, or pretty much nothing we can do with it. But then, for example, in the constructor, we have something called init, and this init will run when the class is created. So in our init, we could actually print foo. So foo is now, and string concatenation in Java, you would do, I'm just going to show in this file, you would do foo, and that works in Kotlin also. But as you see, it actually complains, and what it wants me to do is to move foo inside, and you can just use a $sign and then foo, and it will actually take the variable foo, and so we can use it, or it will use it inside a string and concatenate it. So if we run this program now, so we say hello Kotlin from this print, and then we create the main Kotlin, and we run the init, and it will say foo is now 5. Perfect. So the thing here with the constructor parameter is that this will be accessible both outside here. So if I do vol my int, I can do it equal to foo, and it will be accessible inside init. If I want to make it a member variable, like my int now is a member variable, I can actually just put var or vol in front of the variable up here, and what that will make is what that will mean is that foo will now be a member variable in main Kotlin, and it will be accessible to all functions. So if I make a new function down here, test for example, I can now access fun inside the scope. But if I remove the vol, it's only accessible in the scope and in init. So now you can see it turned red because it doesn't have access to it. And it also means that if I do vol foo up here, let's remove the test function. If we go down to our main function again, we can do main.foo. So that's accessible now as a member variable in main. So that was quickly entry points, classes, variables, constructors. If you have any questions or want me to add anything, please leave a comment. And if you like this video and would like me to continue this series with some more Java for Kotlin or Kotlin for Java developers, leave a like and I'll produce some more videos. Okay, thank you.